Hi everybody, Robert Painley here. Wanted to let you know that on the continuing series that I'm going to be putting out on my YouTube channel, that my husband Mark is going to be asking questions a lot from, it's going to sound like questions from above somewhere, but I'm going to let him ask questions. So if you have questions that you want to send in and have him ask questions of me, he's going to pick some random stuff, just kind of throw it on me on camera, see how I react to things on a natural setting so it's not practiced and rehearsed. So we want to kind of do this to make it fun and interesting for ourselves as much as hopefully for you at home or at the office, where we happen to be. So I think Mark's got a question.
I do. So starting off this series today for Valentine's Day, Robert, why don't you tell us about a couple of your readings that you have had where Spirit has shown the true spirit of love and Valentine's Day?
Oh, okay. I am wearing red for Valentine's Day today. I'm trying to think of, I think one of the ones that I get most often in my readings. I don't seem to, for whatever reason, get a lot of couples. Sometimes it happens, but I'll give a couple of examples, I think, that I can come up with. One is, I went to go see a woman in Miami who had a son who was 18, who passed about 2 weeks before she called me. And when I talked to her on the phone, it made me a little nervous because I don't usually like to talk to people that close to a passing for a variety of reasons. One, it's too fresh in their memory, and the emotions associated with the passing are so strong sometimes it's hard to get through all of that energy of sorrow and grief to try and really connect with the loved one. But every now and again, it happens where I get someone when they've just recently crossed, and this was one such example. So I went down to see her, and I only had a name and walked into the house. I met her, and normally when I do a reading, I will go into a home and kind of walk through it first and get the energy of the house and then know what I'm going to talk about in the reading. This time, there was no question. I walked straight into the house, and I went straight to, I was like, hello, how are you doing? I need to go back in this direction. And I walked into a room, and I said, this is your son's room, correct? She said, yes. And it was filled with boxes. Like her son had passed a couple weeks before, but she had everything in boxes because she was so distressed with the passing that it was very hard for her to see all of that stuff, and she wanted to put it in storage. So I went, and all the boxes were there, and I said, I'm getting your son very clearly already. And one of the things that we need to talk about here is he's talking about a skateboard. I'm like, where's a skateboard at? She said, it's behind you in the closet. I said, can I see it? She said, yes. And so I opened the closet door, and sure enough, there was a skateboard lying there. And I said, he's talking about the skateboard, and he's telling me things that are difficult for me to talk about with you, because I don't know how you're going to take it and perceive it. And she said, I want to hear everything. I want to know everything that he's saying. I said, okay. I said, it's hard for me. I can't say this. And she said, please, Robert, just tell me. I said, look, what he's telling me right now is that you used to yell at him all the time riding on the skateboard. And she started crying. She burst into tears, and she started crying. And I felt horrible. And she said, oh, I didn't mean to. I didn't want to. And I just thought that, I just wanted to protect him. And I said, well, what he's coming through with now, I can't say this. I just can't. She's like, please talk to me. And it's like, I don't want to. It's like, it's too much. And she's like, and she's crying and talking this through tears. And she said, Robert, just tell me. And I said, he can't. He just looked at me just straight in the eye and said, it can't hurt me now. And she stopped her crying, and she looked straight at me. And it took about 10 seconds, and then she just burst out laughing. And she goes, that's exactly what my son would say. He was, and it made her feel so much better. And she was just so excited that she heard something about his personality. The personality came through, what he would normally say.
His sense of humor.
His sense of humor, everything just came through in that way, which was great. And she also told me, right after that, he's talking about a bag of rocks. What's with a bag of rocks? And she goes, we have a bag of rocks. I'm like, well, she goes, you want to see him? I said, sure. She went into her bedroom, and she got this Crown Royal bag of something. She came and said, I told her, there's going to be a blue rock in there. And she said, okay. And she opened up the bag, and she dumped it out, and they were all kind of black stones and kind of gray stones, but there was one blue stone. And I said, he's asking you to please make this into a piece of jewelry. He wants this blue stone into a piece of jewelry. And she said, that was actually his. It was on a necklace of his. I'm saying, well, he wants you to make it into a necklace for yourself now, just so you'll always feel him close, and you know that. And it brought her so much joy, knowing that this was a message from her son, and a way that they could connect again from such a horrific loss. So I don't want to go into details, and I never want to give too much information about my clients away, but this is an example of love from the other side, where a mother was so distraught to get some type of message from the son that she just wanted to know that her son was okay. And these messages that were coming through just validated for her that her son was safe on the other side and was still watching and knowing what she needed to hear to make herself feel better. So that's kind of one example of love from mother parent, parent to son or daughter avenue. But another one I could think of a husband and wife, where I went to a reading with one of my clients, and he wasn't. I was with the son, and I didn't know that the father was actually going to be there. So I went to go to the meeting, and we're sitting down. I start to do the reading for the son about his life and career and things of that nature. And while I was about maybe 2 or 3 minutes into what I was doing, the father came in and sat down and was just listening to the reading. And you could tell he wasn't very receptive to what was going on. And I kind of sensed a lot of Catholic energy, and that he wasn't going to be open and receptive to what it was talking about. Because of his belief system, and not that it has to do with Catholic specifically, but just his belief system in general. And I just said, I just feel that you lost your wife recently. And he said, yes, she passed a couple of weeks ago. I said, I didn't come here to read this, but she's really talking about something. She's coming through right now, and she's saying that you can have the closet now. And he just looked at me quizzically. It's like, apparently during your marriage, she's letting me know that you never had any closet space, that you argued about this for 40 plus years of marriage, that you never had any closet space. And she said, you can have it now. It's all yours. And he didn't know what to do. He started to cry, but then he saw the humorous side of it. And I just said, she doesn't want you to hold on to her things. They're just things. But she wanted her husband to be happy and to follow his heart and have the rest of his life. And then she's going to be there to support him and be his biggest cheerleader for the rest of his stay on this plane. And he looked at that information and didn't quite know what to do with it. And I said, and she also is there with a dog. Apparently, I know this is a German Shepherd, and it's right next to her side, and she's standing there with this German Shepherd. He said, I love that dog. And he was so excited to see that dog, and I let him know that dog will be there when it's his time to cross. And that's what she was letting me know, so that she'll be there and this dog will be there. And it brought him such a peace of mind, and it was able to quiet his spirit quite a bit through that reading. And even though I was there to read the son, the majority of what I was there for was to actually help the father. And that love between husband and wife was unbreakable. And he just needed to know that. And he got the message from this reading that really helped him move on. And I subsequently have seen the gentleman again, and he's in a better place in his life now because he is going on and able to realize that he could be happy, and that she's there in spirit rooting for him. So those are a couple examples I think I have of love that is eternal. So I just want to wish everybody a very happy Valentine's Day, and enjoy your love and peace.